So, welcome back to another episode of the Organizedpreneur Podcast. I am your host, Aldrima Harper. And so today is another exciting episode. Well, I think they're exciting. I hope you think they are too. So, today I want to just talk a little bit about my shift. It's a slight shift to help entrepreneurs in the capacity of a fractional COO, um, a mentor to podcasters, and service based providers. And the shift is primarily to people who are looking to launch their podcast, or if they already have a podcast and they find that it's like, Aldrima, there's so many moving parts. I don't know what to do. I'm here to help you there as well. And so, my goal or my objective is to help you to become um, more of a one person business. I want you to create a one person business. And I shared this in, I think I have anyway, in other episodes that, my goal, I've never had this goal to become this huge business or to have, this huge staff. I can still have full blown, smooth operating business without having a huge staff. And of course, AI helps you to do that. But that's not the purpose of this episode today. But um, I wanted to share, because you may be wondering, and maybe I never said this, or maybe you don't even care, but the question might become, do you have a mentor? I said all of that. Yeah, I know that was a word salad, but I said all that to answer that question. Do you have a mentor? And I get a lot of questions when I have a networking event, when I have other type of virtual events. I get a lot of questions. And so, but to answer that question, do I have a mentor? Absolutely yes. And even as I help my clients build their automated brains, as I call it, uh, to help them to build their pipelines, I still invest in my own business. And so, yes, I have a podcast coach. Why? Because you cannot read the label from the inside of the jar. Let that sink in. You cannot. A true CEO, a true media CEO, or whatever the case may be, never builds in isolation. Even coaches need coaches, leaders need leaders. They need sounding boards. Pastors need pastors, ministers need ministers. You don't build in isolation. And so I want to talk a little bit about the mistake that I see a lot of creators make when they finally decide to ask for help, because a lot of you out there are swiping your credit cards, right? You're swiping your credit cards for a coach, when what your business actually needs is an operations mentor. Okay, an operations mentor. And so, I say that because, well, let me just break this down for you. So, I believe that there are 3 seasons of support. And so, you know exactly what room you need to be in. But let me just break down the 3 seasons of support. Number 1, look at my notes here. Season 1 is the launch coach. Okay, if you haven't recorded a single episode yet and you have no idea how to get your show on Spotify or on Apple or whatever the case may be, you need a launch coach. That launch coach their job is to help you pick a name, to help you define your niche, to get you over the starting line. And I personally have my own framework for that, and I call that the 5 pillars of launching a podcast. Okay. Number one, your purpose. Why do you want to launch a podcast? Okay. Those they're actually the 5 pillars are the 5 P's of podcasting. The first one is your why. Okay. Why do you want to launch a podcast? You need to know that. Just like in business, you need to know why you are launching a business. You need to know why you are launching a podcast. Okay. So your purpose, that's the first P. The second P is your person. Okay. The ideal listener and audience. Who is that? Who is your person? You need the same thing in podcasting that you have in business. You need to know who your person is. The third P is your position, your niche. What niche are you in? I'm in the podcasting space, but I help solo entrepreneurs, primarily women, but I'm not opposed to helping men. But that's what I do in terms of supporting you as a launch coach. Okay. So that's the third one, your positioning, your niche. Number 4 is the plan. What is your structure? What is your strategy? I'll help you with that as a launch coach. Okay. So the plan. And lastly is the platform. And that talk in that arena, we talk about your tech stack. What are you going to need for your operations? And I know I talk a lot more about that because I have found that a lot of people, they start their podcast, they launch their podcast, and maybe they know all of these things, but they're discovering that there are a lot of moving parts. And that means that you are in operations overload. Okay. And so that is where I can come in. But that's the third season season of support. The first one is the launch coach. The second one, that's what I want to get into now, and then I'll talk about, the last one. So the second one is the growth. I can't even talk right now. Okay, so season number 2 is the growth coach. This is where you got your show out there, but nobody's listening. Okay? That is the growth coach, where the growth coach helps you with marketing. The growth coach helps you pitch yourself as a guest on other shows, how to run ads, how to secure your first sponsor. Now, here's the thing, that is not my area of expertise. I'm just sharing with you what you need. Those are there are those 3 seasons. You do need a growth coach. And so if that is you, perhaps I can direct you to a growth coach, because my area of expertise is not helping you with ads. I do things organically. Okay. That's my reach, and I have my own um, methodology for my outreach. Okay, that I'll save that for another time, but it's called the Launch Host and Grow methodology. Um, and so, but you definitely will need a growth coach. Okay, when nobody is listening. All right. Number 3 is my area of specialty. This is where I live. That's where I hang out. It's like that's my jam. Okay? But this is where many of you are stuck right now. Like, you got the show, you got the audience, you got the brilliance, right? But behind the scenes, it's just a mess. It's just a hot mess. Okay? Your back end is a chaotic mess, and you are the bottleneck. If you are getting stuck there, if your operations are, if you are the bottleneck, if you get sick and the podcast doesn't go out, and you are drowning in the manual editing and the thought of recording another episode just kind of makes you tired, then you need an operations mentor. That's again where I hang out. Okay? If you hire a growth coach while your operations are broken, you're just pouring water, okay? You're just pouring water into a leaky bucket. There you go. You don't want to do that. You're getting more listeners. That's not going to help you. Okay? That won't give you your Friday back. It won't give you your weekends back. Okay? You're growing, but your operations are broken. And so as an operations mentor, as a fractional COO, as an efficiency architect, I can give you what you need. Because what you don't need is a rah rah pep talk, right? Or someone to tell you just go on Instagram more, post more on Instagram, do this on LinkedIn, do that. That's not what the operations mentor, that is not what I do, all right, as an operations mentor. Efficiency, that because that's not going to help you be efficient. Okay. So we get our hands dirty. We help you to build your project boards. We help you to build your pipeline. We help you to create a secure AI workspace for your intellectual property so that it's safe. We help you to create um, a custom mega prompt so that you can turn your 3-hour process into a 30-second automated breeze. What you don't need is to be behind the scenes working for 3 hours post production and not getting anything done and being exhausted after that 3 hour production time for one episode. I know from experience, and that's why my heart just bleeds for you. So I actually am opening up a very special, I guess I call it a very special intimate container where um, I have what I'm calling a 90-day advisory and mentorship sprint. This is specifically for the creator or the service-based entrepreneur that might already have a team, or you might already have an editor, but you need some strategy for your roadmap, right? You need, you're ready to scale, but you don't want to lose your mind. Nobody wants to lose their mind, right? And so, um, if you need a safety net and you need someone to help you build this machine, then I'm your gal. If you're ready for that high level mentorship and accountability and operations oversight, I'm your girl. Let's chat. So what you'll find in the show notes is a link to get on my calendar, and it'll be below this video or just in the show notes. You definitely will find the link. Click on that link and get on my calendar. If you have a massive mission, my friend, And you do not have to carry the operational weight of it alone. Okay? You don't. I'm here to help you. So if this resonated with you and if this is something that you are seeking um to find out more information about that, then go ahead and click in the show notes or in the description notes. Get on my calendar and let's chat. It's a complimentary session where we'll just kind of um, personalize the strategy, fill in the gap between where you are now and where you're trying to go. That's what it's all about. So I hope this was helpful for you. I want you to keep stepping into that CEO role, but most of all, I want you to do things, all things, decently and in order, and protect your peace. And I'll see you on the next episode. Have an amazing day.